Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Today I'm going to be talking about why marriages fail. Now there are many reasons for it, and I'm only going to spotlight a few. And I'm not talking about the reasons for divorce, things like infidelity and that type of things. I'm not talking about the end. I'm talking about the degradation of the marriage itself. There are many attitudes and reasons for this, and I'm just going to go through a few. And there are some people who are married, they love their spouse, but they're still looking for a soul mate. Now that's a dangerous thing, because you can say, I love this person, but this person isn't my soul mate. Now that will make a marriage fail. Marriages fail because people don't take the time to really understand each other. They don't learn who each other are. And I'm not talking about just likes and dislikes and pet peeves. I'm talking about really getting involved in each other's lives, developing time in each other's world. Marriages fail because they're not connecting, because they're not involved with each other. They live as if they're still single. And that's another attitude that's sort of separate. When a couple lives like they're single, they have separate bank accounts, separate friends, separate vacations, separate lives in general. And they don't really make a connection at all. They say, we'll get married, I love you, you love me, we'll be married, but nothing will change in our lives. We'll still do the same things we've always done. And then they wonder why they fall out of love with each other, and the marriage falls apart. On the flip side of that, there are people who test drive marriage. And what I mean by that, they go all in. Well, before we get married, let's move in together, let's join our bank accounts, let's do everything together. Let's do everything married couples do. And let's see if it works. And if it works, then we'll get married. And that's the problem. They let it work for a little while, but after they get married, the dynamic does change. And that happens with any couple. The dynamic in the relationship will always change as soon as you're married. Now, you don't notice it for a while because you're still in the, quote, honeymoon phase, but it still happens. And then you realize you can't just leave now. And then some people feel trapped and have to escape, and then the marriage starts to degrade. Some people get married for the wrong reasons. They get married because they're, quote, in love, but they don't really know what it means to love another person. Or they get married because the girlfriend gets pregnant. Or they get married because everyone says they should. Or they get, whatever the reason, they're not getting married for the sake of being married. They're getting married because people are pressuring them, or some other outside force. They didn't consult God, and they didn't talk to each other. Someone, even if it's themselves, have forced the marriage. And when a marriage is forced, it will start to degrade and it will fail. Some people think marriage is the wedding. They'll spend $30,000, $40,000, $75,000 on a wedding, the big day. Now, weddings are a big deal, but marriage is a long-term deal. Marriage doesn't, the wedding is not the marriage. It doesn't stop as soon as the wedding's over. And many people get married just to have a wedding, and that's also a wrong motive. Many people their marriages fail because they have the idea that I'm getting married to make me happy. Or I'm marrying her to make her happy, just ultimately so she will stop talking about getting married. Again, there's that pressure. He didn't want to get married, but now he is getting married because it will make her shut up, is what the idea is. And that's also a wrong motive and a wrong reason. You don't get married to make yourself happy. You get married because you want someone else to be happy. Not to please them, but you think you're what's best for that person, and that person is best for you, and you get married. Ultimately, why do marriages fail? Because we are selfish, sinful people. That's a lot of times what it comes down to. Anything on this list can be chalked up to selfishness. I want what's best for me. I'm going to do what's best for me. And when we start realizing that we are selfish and we're not living for another person, then we can start to fix these marriages. Because even though marriages are failing, that doesn't mean they have to be over. They can be repaired. Sometimes with counseling, with plenty of prayer, and with really coming to understand who the other person is. Now later down the line I will talk about successful marriages, but I am going to talk about some other things before I get to that. And this has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.